On this week's show, we're going to talk about lazy estate agents, complacency, and the market in 2019 with today's special guest, Dean Gill.
Dean Gill!
Okay, so who are you?
Well, I'm Dino, no surname.
Come on. So, for the people that don't know who you are, come on.
Yeah, so my name is Dean Gill. I am an estate agent stroke trainer.
Extraordinaire, we believe.
Well,
Big in the game?
Extraordinaire, not in the
Big
French
in the
term.
game.
Big in the game.
Big in the game. Big in the game with only a small cup. So been in the business. I've been in training since.
That's what your missus says.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah.
This is the innuendo show today.
I'm not shalumming that.
And don't be scared to try in case you like it.
Indeed.
So anyway, moving on, which I'm sure we wish I would.
So you go into agencies and train people, specifically in what?
Training and coaching in estate agency, customer service, sales, law, management.
You're not one of those gurus that've been like in business.
No,
like 2 months.
I don't profess to be a guru, not Guru Dean. I don't hold seances or anything like that. I simply endeavour to provide exceptional service for my clients.
Good,
Okay.
good.
So in 30 seconds, what's your CV? And make sure it's 30 seconds. Go.
CV. Been in the business since 1992. Worked independent corporate. Been in training of estate agents since year 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Worked for a variety of corporate and independents, national franchise groups. Now freelancing. Have car, have access to public transport, will travel.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I think that maximised the time
That
available.
did
Yeah, that
maximise
was
time.
very
So
swift.
talking about national change, which sort of big national brands that you've worked for, Dean, that we might know and love?
A couple in particular, LSL.
Yep.
I worked with them twice. Once when they were that small little national outfit, Your Move.
Yeah.
And then when they were the bigger the one, LSL.
Yeah.
And then recently, I've just come off of an 8-year-ish tenure of the Property Franchise Group, which obviously started out as Martin and Co.
Yeah.
And then has grown
Yeah.
to the size of the business.
Franchisees loved it.
More importantly, do you like dogs, Dean?
I don't mind dogs.
Let's not.
Hello, internet.
You know.
This is Clark, the show dog, the office dog, the dog.
I don't want to turn around and say that my little black book reads like a script to 101 Dalmatians, but we've all had our fair time at that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff.
Awesome. So, in terms of
Reading
the
off
market, reading off the list.
Supposed to read while other people are talking.
Yeah, well,
Shalom.
How many shows have you been doing?
This is number 19.
19.
Okay, well,
Some
so
say
in
it would
terms
never
of-
last.
So in terms of the market currently, so we're back end 18.
Depends when I get this out. Could be.
Could be top end 19.
Could be top end.
April 19.
A lot of people are moving to hubs versus high streets.
Yeah.
Versus hybrid versus online.
hybrid versus online.
What's your thoughts
What
on
are your
that?
thoughts, Dean?
I kind of like it.
What hubs or online or what do you like?
Hey, look, we are, you know, whether we like it or not, we are in the 21st century.
We are.
You know, life, technology, approach to how business works has changed.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to stay in the 80s and the 90s, you will die.
There's plenty of agents that are stuck in the old ways, aren't they?
And I think, and I understand the old, you know, there are still, in my view, fantastic old ways. Our approach to customer service, you know, engaging with our customer,
Yes.
writing things down,
Caring about someone's
caring
house.
about someone,
Picking up the telephone.
you talking to people.
Yeah.
I like the talking to people.
It's
part.
an amazing concept.
It's a thing we should do.
And I think what has happened is some have remained as that and refused to embrace technology. I think others have gone completely the other way and made it fully about technology. And of course, anybody can hit a send button and pump emails out.
Of course can. Of course can.
So you've got to find the natural balance. I am of a view that relationship, the ability to talk and communicate with people should still be the priority. By all means, technology Absolutely.
Help it help you.
Technology is your support function, your administration function, and that should be there.
Because wouldn't you agree that a lot? I mean, I know you do training anyway, but the majority of a house sale, like for each party, is very emotional. It's like a big asset, probably the biggest anyone's ever going to own, and it's an emotional thing. People get stressed about it. People get happy about it.
Yeah, and you are the mediator, you're the facilitator, you're the buffer.
Yeah.
You take everything, and you have to be able to have the ability to ride those emotional roller coasters. You know,
should the dog be biting me? Okay.
Are we still on?
Hang on,
that light went out 20 minutes ago.
I'm going to pop him away.
Oh,
and
bye, Clark.
out the door.
Say bye, Clark. See, carry on. Sorry.
So I like I think it's a bold, brave move for these couple of companies that have certainly been in the trade press recently that have basically shut down high street operations.
Humbert's we were talking about.
Humbert's one. Orchards in London, I think, has taken 4 offices off the high street and put it into a centralised hub. I admire that because I don't. I'm not one of these people that says the high street is dead. I do have a view that I think sometimes, because a lot of agents may be considering moving off the high street, actually, when you look at the price of remaining on the high street, it's probably as cost effective, if not better, in some cases, to remain there than come away and go into a business park because of the cost. So actually, why not have the best of both worlds?
Yeah, because it's not always more efficient, is it?
No.
You know, I mean, we're not town centre. If you ever come and see us, we're not a town centre. But I mean, other than
we don't need to be. Whereas
we don't
sometimes
need to be.
I think an estate agent, it's nice to have that front face.
But in some,
it's what you do with it.
Of course it is. But in some instances, a good friend of the show, good friend of ours, Darren Cope, he moved away from the high street. He moved away from the high street, has got great premises, still in the city, but away from the high street, and has done very, very well. Chris and him have been on the internet, you know, because obviously Chris works with him, and they've increased significantly the number of let properties they've got. Is it Humbert's? Humbert's going to a hub model.
Yes.
Yeah, hub model completely, removing themselves from the high street. You've got people like Steve Wayne. Steve says.
I'd love to know these people.
So Steve in Edgware and Bushy, he's got a hub in Luton. So that's working well. But then you've got others like Matt Giggs as well. Matt's got a place in St Neots, which isn't high street, but he's still got an office.
Yeah.
But
he's in a fantastic little position
he's
there,
an
because you
incredible
go
place.
through Eton Soken and it's boom, he's there.
Yeah, just on the edge of the green.
And his offices are really smart and nice.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's lots of different ways, and all these people who are doing... there's no one right answer. It's basically what I'm saying. There's no one right answer, because all of the people we've just mentioned are successful and very lovely, actually.
I don't think the position is the main thing. It's the mindset of the agent, the way they think, the bosses, and the way they motivate their staff.
Yeah.
I feel really sorry for a lot of staff at the moment who bosses are really in the 19th century, not in the 20th.
Yeah, and not letting them go. Well, we were talking about bosses and complacency before the show and stuff. But you came up with a great phrase like order takers and ordeal makers.
That's a panos, though.
No, I actually think I came up with that
Did
about
you?
5 years ago.
Tom
years
Panos
ago.
stole it from you.
So Tom Panos stole it
Right.
from me. But you know, I'm a generous kind of guy. And
so what does it mean?
You know,
Break it down a little bit.
I can't deny that I listen to a lot of Tom's stuff, and I probably grabbed a few of his lines in the past.
So do we.
Because they make sense and they're powerful.
But
where I come from it in terms of order takers and deal makers, you know, if the market's got a lot of activity and the stuff's coming in, it's very easy just to pick up the phone and respond to it.
Of course it is.
However, what happens there is the complacency sits in, because it's easy just to answer the phone all day and just pump it into the system and hit the button.
Of course it is.
What happens when the market turns, and the market always turns, we know this, you know, I've seen 4 or 5 in my time.
Historical, isn't it? Yeah.
It just happens.
You must have obviously started as a child.
As Mike Day said of Integra, you know, he's 43 years of age, been in the business 40 years. He started when he was 3. You know, bless him. It's been obviously a tough couple for him.
So let's just drop a plug in here for Yomdell, and here's your Yomdell song.
Wow. Well,
Yomdell. You come in 2 colours.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe whilst we're doing plugs, let's put on the One Dome glasses.
Ready?
There we go.
Ready?
For the love of God.
Wonder.
There you go. You
We
get to
need
keep
a song
those.
for Yonder.
Wow. Yeah, and
Yeah.
on
About
behalf of-
Yomdale for the mother's pride.
Yomdale.
Yomdale.
No, it doesn't work.
that
Doesn't work.
yeah.
Doesn't
Okay.
work.
and
big
on behalf of Yomdale, can I just say thank you for these socks?
Okay, do you know how much they paid to get the gear on the show?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
So if you are a supplier and you want to send your crap to us, we'll put it on the show,
Yeah.
and hundreds and
Completely
thousands
for
of
free.
estate agents will see it for free.
Look.
If you're Disney, you want to send some more.
What's not to have?
Or Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, and Kevin's back in.
Big shout out to Kevin as well with his mugs.
Look at all
Sanjay,
look at
big
all
in the game.
All the stuff.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
tapped.
This much, and the Land of New Homes subtle green notebook at the back. I know.
Wow.
Yes.
there you go,
And
there
JP's book.
Yeah.
If you haven't read that, that's
Anyway,
Stress
okay,
test.
so-
A
okay, that's the plug section over.
Back to it.
Back to maybe we could just do what Steve says.
Oh, yeah, go on then.
Let's
See what
go.
our man on the ground says in Bushy and Edgware.
Steve says it's a great time to sell.
That's more like it.
Great, love it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
we should have decided who was going to do that.
We did.
You did.
On the fly. Yeah.
Fine.
Fine.
Well, now we've had Steve says we might as well have Ask the Prop Show.
Yeah, go on. then.
Okay, well it's time for Ask the Prop Show.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
Any watchers, anyone watching I'm a Celeb, did you see Noel Edmonds put a huntsman spider
Oh my God.
in his actual mouth for a minute?
I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna die.
My skin was crawling,
We're an
literally.
episode behind, so
Oh, are
thanks
you?
for that.
Well, by the time this comes out, it'll be over.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No wins.
So most important on Ask the Prop Show this week, favorite Star Wars movie.
Oh,
I'm not bothered about property because I've got a fellow fan of the Force. So we've got a bit of Chewie. So yeah, we've littered the table today with Stormtrooper, a bit of Kylo Ren, a bit of Chewie, and of course my instruction notebook for.
Okay,
So
why don't you do a Q&A on the state agency, but in the style of Star Wars?
how would you even do that?
I don't know. Yeah, the Force is
You
strong.
could do it.
Force is strong.
You could do the questions backwards, like Yoda.
Oh, we've got.
I find your
Hugs versus online. It is.
I find your lack of belief in the market disturbing.
Ah, nice! I love that. I love that. Maybe we should have a series of Prop Show Star Wars posters. That's amazing. No, in all seriousness, which is your favourite Star Wars movie? I wasn't joking.
Oh, well, it's The Empire Strikes Back.
Of course it
always.
is. Of course it is, because it's the best one.
As it's the best one.
Follow.
Follow closely by. Oh, sorry. If we want to move on from that.
Back
Well,
to
I've got a joke. It's a festive Star Wars joke.
Go for it.
What did Darth Vader say to Luke?
I don't know.
I know what you've got for Christmas. Luke says, "How do you know?" He said, "I felt your presence."
I love that. I love that. Okay, so back to property.
We can't tell rude jokes,
because
and all the
back to
best ones are
property-
rude.
Back to property, because not everyone loves Star Wars like I do.
We've given him a Monday breakdown.
And depending on the state of the market, not everybody loves property.
That's true. So
Yeah, let's talk about the agent's attitude to market. Oh, sorry, go on. Yours.
no. Who's wearing the fuzz here?
You are.
This guy. So let's talk about the agent's attitude to the market.
Twat.
Discuss.
This one's got a neck cut.
Discuss.
I think. He says, "Could I have said that in any higher pitch of tone?" The dog heard that.
Yeah, he's barking now.
I think when you look at the market, I'm of an opinion that there's always a market. It's how you adapt or die.
Adapt, improve, as our
Yeah.
brothers in Round Table would say.
Yeah, adapt or die, in my view. You cannot continue to ride the crest of a wave.
No.
You have to recognise that sometimes you've got to work twice as hard to achieve the same. Purely and simply, if you keep that momentum going, and when the activity does increase, and it always does at some point, if you can keep that momentum, you will just smash it moving forward.
Yeah.
What does happen though is you get these people that come in. They've come in a good market.
Yep.
Yes.
They've come in with a lot of activity. They
Yeah,
now
millennials.
react. It could be millennials, whatever it might be.
Am I allowed to say the word?
No,
There's some good millennials out there, I'm sure.
there are.
There are, yeah.
It's a myth.
It's how to handle them.
Yeah,
course it is.
but where I'm going with this is what happens is as soon as things tighten up and they have to apply a proactive approach,
Yeah.
millennial or not,
Yeah.
it's the mindset of the individual.
Of course.
They jump ship.
But that's important though. I think it's always the mindset of the individual. I think
Yeah.
the millennial rubbish is literally rubbish. I think it's purely down to person. I think if you've got the right attitude to work, if you've got the correct attitude to market, both in estate agency and in life in general, you'll succeed. And I don't think it's an age thing. I think it's a mental. I think it's an attitude.
It's absolutely a mental thing. You know, I look at my father-in-law, bless him. You know, he's nearly 80. He loves it. He's a silver surfer. He's all about technology.
Oh, loves
it.
Yeah.
Awesome. You know, loves it. And then you'll have others who try to buck the trend. I think whether you like technology or not, you have to embrace it.
Yeah.
It makes things quicker, easier, smarter, trackable, and you can monitor this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but I heard something recently that just made me stand up and think, do you know what? I get it. And I think the way it is now, estate agency isn't just a job.
No,
it's a way of life.
Yeah.
And I think, and if you look at estate agencies turning up in the office at 1 minute to 9 and leaving at 1 minute past 6, you're not going to be able to do it because there will be competition out there.
Yeah.
And whether you look at the new people coming on the block and the onliners and the hybrids, whatever you want to call them, the fact is they are applying an approch to service.
Yeah.
That stands out,
but they're also doing
whether
more.
they do it well or not is another matter.
But that's actually really interesting, actually, because like, you know, we know self-employed people that 9 to 5 doesn't wash anymore, and if you're working in this market, particularly in an online market,
Well, you two rolled in at 9:30 this morning.
yeah, and we'll finish at 11 o'clock tonight.
No, he said 9 to 5 didn't wash. 9:30 till 3 washes though.
3, you're working late.
No, but going back to the point.
Bringing it back.
There's a point.
He's trying to bring it back now.
Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Bring it back to me.
Okay, back once again for the EA Masters. So no, bringing it back to the point. I think you're right with online, particularly with online, not just online agents, but with online in general. Social media is a 24-hour day thing. You know, my photography company, our film company, people send us messages at all times of day and night. And I think in addition to that, you've got a lot of great people who are out there making content for social media, whether it be video contents, ads, vlog, even blog stuff, written stuff, whatever it is. And that's posted at all times because people absorb information, and actually the bulk of people absorb that information not in the 9 to 5 because that's when they're doing
5
their
to 9.
because that's when they're doing their 9 to 5. So actually, as a result, I think it almost needs to be flipped on its head. You know, if you want to target real people,
don't paid enough.
No.
Yeah,
they
true.
do.
If you're an employee, why would you want to work more than your hours?
No, but what I'm saying is
get
not
that,
necessarily. But here's the theory, okay? Rather than saying, well, for years and years and years, right? If you were working in manufacturing or whatever, okay, you'd work a split shift or you'd work 5 till 9 or whatever. Why not have some of your staff working 9 to 5 and some of your staff on rotation working
12 till 8.
12 till 8?
Well, because
it's the mindset.
Target those people who
Do they actually have to come into the office?
No, they can work remotely. Who needs to be in the office?
Look at it nowadays. You
What
know,
was the outputs there?
yeah, you look at it nowadays. You know, in terms of what I do, you know, in terms of training, consultancy services, coaching. In effect, I could run my entire business off my iPhone.
Of course you can.
Mm.
Of course
I can do communication, social media,
Snapchat,
preparation, Snapchat. You know, the financial side,
Spotify.
the lot, you know. And I won't have to buy an expensive bag to carry it all around.
This is
Candy
true.
Crush.
Well, no.
Which is clearly a motivational tool.
Of course. It keeps the mind sharp.
For this. But it's interesting when you sort of say they're not paid enough, and I think that's a key thing. And we know there's this. You know, the further you go up the country, it swings more to basic than commission and so on and so forth. There's got to be a way, and I'm not saying I know what that way is at the moment, but there's got to be a way of incentivising these people and making sure that they, you know, target. I mean, I've got into some
money?
It may not be money.
It's not always money.
It's
No,
not
it's not
always
money.
money. It's recognition, opportunity.
Do you think we're good at that?
Personal growth, personal development.
Do you think we're good at that? You know,
No.
you look at all the things. People want to be trained. They want to be motivated, told what to do, and being given a pat on the back when they're doing a good job.
Well,
Do you
some
think we're good
people,
at that?
some people are. I mean, look at John Paul at Castledine. You know, his business isn't around, his business is built around empowering people
Yes.
and investing in people. Yeah, and improving them as
And that
individuals.
breeds
people.
loyalty.
Of course it does, because Richard Branson has said, and this
Yes.
is how we run our business.
It's been around a lot, that
It
quite
has.
recently.
Richard
Yeah.
Branson has said, I don't know if
Train
you know,
your
I don't know if you
people.
know who he is. He is massive in the game. Okay, so train your people to the point where they could leave, but treat them so well that they don't want to. And if everyone ran the business in that way, then why would they want to leave?
Well, exactly. And why do people? But you know, I read it and I just think it's so right. People don't leave their jobs; they leave their bosses.
Of course they do. Real talk. That is real.
You know, money. Of course, money's important, and of course, you know, if someone turns around and is going to offer you a 6-figure salary to do a job that you've been earning a measly 5-figure salary for,
Is that a real thing? Because I'll leave the prop show.
You do look at it. I read it somewhere. You know, you do look at this stuff, but there is all of this being in it together.
Yeah.
And you are in it together, and when things are going to get a bit tight, you know, whether you can change the incentive in a way, I don't know. You know, I guess if the business is going to struggle and come down on income, you know, the nature of the job we do is, of course. But then when you bounce back up, everybody reaps the rewards.
Yes.
Of that.
But isn't an incentive flexibility?
Yeah.
You know, if you were to say, right, for example, this 9-to-5 business where we're actually, particularly if you're working with consumers, which we do in some of our business, but also business people in some part. So, you know, sometimes we need to be in the office 9 to 5 because there needs to be that interaction with other businesses. But when we're looking to work with consumers, we were filming in Bedford a buy-to-let evening with Belvoir.
Hi Zoe.
Hi Zoe.
Hi Nigel.
And that was that started at 5 and finished at 10. Okay, so that because it was end users.
5 hours.
Well, no, it wasn't 5 hours, but we had to drive back. And all
Drive
that
down
stuff.
and-
But so that was targeting people after their day job. So flexibility for people I think is probably as important. Say for example you're a working mum, you know, you're a working mum or whatever, and you need to be flexible around childcare, or even a working dad. It doesn't have to be gender specific, but you're a working parent and you need to drop your children off at 9 and you need to collect them at 3. Okay. What's the issue with saying, right, well, you are working for us remotely, your hours of work are 10 till 2, and then you do a split shift from 6 till 8 to target consumers who are then enjoying their evening or interacting with you
But
online.
they can do that from home, right?
Of course they can do that from home.
Yeah.
So is
Who's
that...
going to look after the high street office though?
Hey.
But that's what I'm saying about having different staff.
Go on,
What are your thoughts on that?
And this is it, you know, stereotypically, or historically, should I say, in this business, you know, I mean, I remember working selling houses in London in the late 90s, and you know, we the doors were shut at 7.
Yeah.
I might still go out and have to do a couple of viewings because people are coming out of the city. They're not getting back into where I was based until 7.
Yeah.
You're doing that. You then might not get back in the front door of your own home until 9 o'clock. You were still expected to be back in that office at 8:30 for your morning meeting.
Yeah, sure.
And I get all that stuff. But do we all have to sit around a table and have a morning meeting?
I was going to say, you could log
Could you
in.
not have like a Skype webinar?
Yeah.
All this, at least people are there.
Yeah.
But I know that then sort of you then got to try and find the right time for the flexibility.
Yeah.
You know, if I went out and set up on my own as a freelance estate agent, based from home, every agent's online nowadays because they all have websites.
Of course.
I appreciate some of them may not be as developed in terms of the interaction as other sites are. But you know, if I need to drop my kids off at school, I will drop my kid. I mean, they're a bit old for that now. One of them.
Yeah.
Got a granddaughter, have you?
I have a granddaughter. Yeah, she's not even at school at the moment. Bless her. Let's give that girl some chance. God love her. But you work your flexibility.
Yeah.
You know, and
I think that is important. I think that's as important as salary.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, and if it meant for when I first started in the business in '92, one of the first deals that office did, it was before I joined, but Andy, one of the partners, was telling me about it, was, you know, it was all high street then, there wasn't really no internet then.
Yeah, of course.
Someone was walking past the office at 7:30 in the morning, walking to the train station, and happened to notice somebody and they were looking to move, popped in. And it was because they were there at 7:30 in the morning that worked.
Yeah.
That it's amazing when it's your own business, the commitment you give to it. When you are on a salaried position, some people's mindset is absolutely still the same. You know, I'm here to support because I want to be part of this business. I want to grow it.
Yeah.
Others are, it's just a job. I want to take my money. And if your attitude towards it is it's just a job and I want to take your money, get out of the game. Go and do something
Well, that's what
else.
sense of way of life.
Yeah.
Can I leave a funny thing that you talked to me in the green room before we were?
So you can do a Jerry Springer
I'm
final
going
thought.
to end the Ask the Prop Show.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got a green room. I didn't see that.
It's green screen room.
It's
a green screen room. We can have a green room. Come on.
Could you tell me about that funny story about which agent you would choose, the best agent?
So we're up in Scotland doing.
Yeah, because you guys do video training, you know, where you take
We do.
take
We
first.
do that.
Basically, we went up to Scotland to Retty and
Hi, guys.
did some training with them, and one of the ladies on the course actually said to Chris, we were talking about the power of video, and there's a guy in Grantham locally, Tony Ruby.
Hi, Tony.
The video guy. But he's all over Facebook, isn't he? And she said to Chris,
Massive, yeah.
who would you get to sell your house in Grantham? And he said, well, Tony Ruby, because he'll put my property in front of more people. She was like, would you not check his stats, though? To which you were like, what?
Check his stats, see how many awards he's won. And do you know what? Some people would, actually. If you had an analytical mind or whatever, you might. But in real terms, it's about exposure. Like, how many people are going to see my property? How quickly? Mm-hmm. How regularly will they see it? And how quickly will they see it? Well, I know that in Grantham particularly, it'll be on the internet later that day, because Tony would be a stand outside. All right, lads, here's my 2-bedroom semi-detached. It's not actually. It's much nicer than that. It's been double extended downstairs. Okay. But yeah, but
it's been overextended.
It's been overextended. yeah, like my wallet. But the same in Peterborough with James Dawson, same in Sawbridgeworth with Adam. You know, people who are getting the video content out there. But I think that's an interesting point. I think
how many people looking to sell their house would know where to go on a Rightmove website to check stats of local agents?
We've got a focus group of ourselves, and we look at Rightmove as if we were looking at it through our own eyes.
Of course, yeah.
So there you go. Dino, we've actually just released some videos of you talking about what you can do as a trainer, and also giving some top tips to people, especially some top tips on Dupix as well. Other CRM systems are.
In fact, let's drop one of those videos in now, just a little snippet, and then you can see the rest on Chris's YouTube channel a bit later on,
and probably Dean's YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, definitely. So let's have a little bit of Dean and Chris in the studio.
Dean, you are a bit of a whiz kid on Dupix, even though you don't work for them. What's the 3 biggest mistakes that people make on Dupix?
I think the first one is when it comes to applicant qualification, and we spoke about this previously. One of the biggest mistakes in Dupix is that there is a facility in Dupix that I think allows frontline negotiators, probably consultants, and varying titles in that respect, to just get names and numbers. Okay. And I just think we are order taking there, and we are an industry now where we cannot afford to be order taking.
Let's be honest, people don't put themselves on mailing lists that much, so at least if someone's prepared to give you their name and number, let's get some details from them.
Exactly.
What's the second mistake people make? Managing
the inquiries. Within the dashboard, you'll have the inquiries section, and that will invariably bring in all the website leads, be it the portals or your local website. The information that will come in there will be quite basic, because it's about them interested in property details, booking a market appraisal, booking a viewing. What I find on my travels is that a lot of people will literally contact that client. First and foremost, do they get hold of them? Secondly, if they do, they literally book the viewing in, and that's it. Okay. With no further conversation about getting more information.
What do you think bosses, because again, I talk to a lot of estate agency bosses, and a lot of them feel they're a bit out of control and probably don't know Dupix as well as they should do. Mm-hmm. What could bosses do to not keep an eye on their necks, but ensure that Dupix, because let's be honest, it's a lot of money, gets value for money out of them?
I think if they can if they know where to tap in on a daily basis to be able to filter out the records that have happened in the last 24, 48 hours and just get an understanding of the quality of the information that's in there, that will give them an immediate window on how their negotiations operate.
That's a Dino top tip on Dupix. A manager every day or every other day, go in and look at actual records, but actually physically go in and have a look.
Go in and have a look.
Sounds pretty basic, mate.
And it is. You know, I've said this before. This is not a rocket science industry. I think sometimes we allow software to run our business. It's not. We should be running our business. It's an aid memoir. It's a support function to running our business.
It's there for us. We're not there for it.
Yeah, we cannot be at its beck and call.
And do you think that's where a lot of agents go wrong?
I think so. It's all too easy. Computer says yes, computer says no. Okay. And I hope I'm not infringing copyright when I say that.
No. Is there a third mistake that agents make?
I think for me, one of the third mistakes is it's probably not a mistake, it's probably a bit more of a frustration.
Go on.
And I think that's lack of really maximising the reporting in Dupix. There's a lot of reporting functionality there, but I think a lot of agents shy away from it purely and simply because they're not confident in the quality of the data that goes into it.
But that comes back to what you were saying before.
Exactly.
Is
So
there
there's a knock-on, there's a domino effect.
Is there a subject to the team actually filling the records in correctly? Is there any little reports in Dupix that are little golden nuggets that you think people often miss but are just?
For me, the key one is the applicant analysis, and they don't use it because again it's reliant on the quality of the data that goes in. But what it can do very quickly is give you a really clear window on what the majority of your database is looking for.
Dino, you've been emotional.
Cheers,
mate.
Chris.
Cheers, mate.
Very insightful.
There you go.
Very insightful.
So yeah, so the rest of those are in a playlist.
Hopefully gives you some thoughts.
So
Yes.
on Chris's YouTube channel, jeez, rubber band. So Chris's YouTube channel, which is here, that's where the rest
He
of
loves
the
doing that.
Dean Gill films will be.
Yeah, they are there now.
Yeah. Awesome.
Online now.
Great stuff. Yeah, we've got another training course coming in January.
Oh, we haven't set a date for it yet,
We
though,
haven't
have
set a
we?
date
So,
But there
no
will be. There will be a link. There's a link to we've got a page
Yeah.
on our website here. So book on once we release the date.
But we've got actually more people and places that want to come on it. So
yeah, it's a bit of a first
might
come,
have to do
first
too.
serve.
Yeah,
Well,
but
that is a
there's
nice
I think we should
problem
do
to
one in
have.
London as well in March.
London in March.
London in March.
We like going
Can
on
I bring the
training.
Fez?
If you want to
Like
bring
New
the
York
Fez,
at Christmas.
Excellent. London in March.
London in March.
Awesome.
I think that's about it, boys.
Yeah. How are shares doing? Just quick.
10.4p.
Oh, they're going up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They're going up. Do you know what? Actually,
Is it shares that begin with the C and end in an E?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah. Well, you might make your money back. You won't. So that's it, boys. Thanks a million
Right for hubbing.
Yes,
That
right
business.
for hubbing. Yeah. So thanks a million, Dean.
Yeah.
Thanks a million
Top
for
man.
the show.
Cheers, Matt.
No worries.
Always a pleasure. my friend.
And
Never sure.
from all of us here at the Prop Show.
Shalom!